Hi everyone, welcome to Face Off. I'm Ricky Shu alongside Vin DeAnton and Kevin over here. Let's get started right away.
Kevin Consman.
I'm subbing in for Rob, forgive me.
I understand.
It's his birthday today, 22nd I believe. Yeah?
22nd.
Yeah, I've been 22 for like half a year. I'm old.
Anyway, we're going to move on. First order of business, we have the Blackhawks, who they haven't lost in regulation yet. So when do you think they're going to get their first loss?
I was looking at the schedule right before the show. Should have did it earlier. But, I don't want to be cliche, no offense, and say the Red Wings, because that's the thing to say, because Detroit's been the best team in hockey consistently, other than the Devils, to be honest with you, in the past 15 years. But I'm going to go with this Thursday, and I'm going to go with St. Louis. Just because, and it's going to be a great matchup, because the Blackhawks are second in penalty kills, and the Blues have the second most power play goals and have the best percentage. They're the only team with, I think, 30% power play goals. So I just think the Blues match up well with them. They're a division rival. They're also in third place right now, and that division is stacked. So, obviously, the West is kind of weak, but I just think the Blues match up well. If not, I think you're going to call me crazy, but I think the Blue Jackets beat the Blackhawks before the Wings do, okay? The Blue Jackets have lost no games this year by more than 2 goals, okay?
Right.
They're still
I
a crappy
hear you
team,
out.
but they were at Chicago and lost only 1-0, okay? I think if they're going to lose, it's going to be to a lesser team. Now, I know that is very cliche to say as well, but
I can't wrap my head around it. That's the thing. And I'm going to say Dallas. I know it's down the line for them. I think it's the 16th that they play them. But they played
16th.
Dallas, and they lost in overtime. They won in overtime 3-2. And just the closeness of the game, I'm going to go with Dallas, just as maybe they might hold that grudge or where they stand.
Well, the one set that I saw that really stood out to me is that they've played 13 games already, decided by 1 goal. Going into something like that, eventually, they're going to be worn out at some point with these streaks.
happened to the Giants this year.
Some teams are actually genuinely relieved to lose in a streak. Gets a relief of a loss off of you, all the pressure off of you. But I do think that going into that Red Wings game, they could still be undefeated because you don't win, 13 straight games by 1 goal decision. Not straight, you know what I mean.
And 20 is asking a lot, but I don't think they feel pressure. I think they're the most confident team in hockey right now. I think they know that they're good. They won a Stanley Cup when they weren't supposed to, when they were young, and now they're just like, whatever.
Yeah.
I really think they're just like,
Yeah.
You don't think so? Or
No, I agree with you. I think they're just, they're just carrying themselves in a positive way.
And they got a great coach.
But we're going to move on. The reaction to Simone Gagne has now been picked up by the Flyers with a trade with the LA Kings. Your thoughts?
I think it's a desperate move. I was talking to a couple Flyer fans, to drop any names on the set, but I think it's somewhat desperate. They have, obviously I blame the coach for whatever problem that they're going through right now. All those penalties, are you kidding me? That's obviously coaching. I don't care what anybody says. And that's in any sport. If your team isn't disciplined, that's obviously coaching. But then you have Philly fans say, oh, the refs are always against Philly. Shut up. But I think it's desperate. I think they're looking for veteran leadership in the locker room. And why not bring back a guy who knows how that locker room is, But I do think it's desperate, Kev.
Question for you guys. Do you think that this is more of a move to have that veteran experience to continue pushing for the playoffs, even though they're hovering around that 8th seed right now? Or do you think this is a sign that they are looking for someone to mature these guys for a longer run?
Well, I think the veteran experience is a bonus more so. And right now I think they're trying to find a formula to win more than anything. They don't have they have a good lineup. It's not the all-star
They have a crappy goalie, just for the record.
They're very inconsistent too.
Yeah, and they're I think they're just trying to find their footing a little bit here. And this is a move in a long line or short line maybe if they get a formula right soon, that will help them carry themselves better.
Okay.
They are a young team and they need it. I think they also have. I think they're very. What's the word I'm looking for? They're very naive, I think, some of those players. And they're playing in
They're still trying to get their footing.
City where but to me, I think it's the same thing with the Flyers every year. They should be the best team in their division every year. I know Pittsburgh is more well put together, but it seems like the Flyers are that close every year. And I think it's desperate. But it really isn't that kind of move that's a game change, that's a season changing move. They're not trading for, Stamkos or like Rick Nash. So if they were to go for someone like a Rick Nash, I'm not saying that he is available, but a player like that, because the Rangers almost did that last year. But I think this. If they make the playoffs, it'll be a 7 or an 8 seed, which with a young team, you know what? Good job, coach. Seriously. But I think you got to stick with building for the future. When you have a young team and you made that statement going into the season that you are a young team, just continue to build. I don't know why teams do this. I guess because they've been competitive for the past decade. They think they have to be competitive every year and have to be a top-tier type of team every year. But I say you should have stuck with the plan. Why you make this trade? They didn't lose anything, but...
If this trade was made earlier in the season, do you think that would be a more clear sign of it being a push for the playoffs?
Yeah,
as opposed to, after faltering?
Yeah. We're going to move on to Te'o from Notre Dame. Is he showing bad character with his excuses?
He made an excuse at the combine that he had a bad 40 time. He ran like a 4.8, right?
Yeah.
He said I would have ran a 4.6 or a 4.5. And he says he's going to come back and kick butt at his pro day, which I hate the whole pro day thing, by the way. I'm sorry. It's definitely bad character. He's definitely stressed out because the whole sexuality thing keeps on coming up. I think someone asked him about it the other day, and to this day, I really do think he's gay. I will not get off that theory. Because how do you not know that a guy is doing a girl's voice over the phone for 2 years? I think a break. But I think it shows bad character. He was supposed to go to the Giants at 20. If they originally had him dropping that far before all this came out, I don't think he'll go back. I don't think he'll go past the first round because linebacker there really aren't great linebackers in football anymore, and the only great linebacker position are the middle guys like a Lewis and like a Patrick Willis. So I think a team is going to take a chance on him, like the Jets or the Raiders.
What I never understood was that the big thing with Te'o always was that his biggest asset to a team would always be his leadership, his heart, his mentality. He always brought that fierce competitive edge. So I don't understand why he's getting a lot of flack at his combine when he's just the kind of material player that it's not going to show in a dome where he's working out with the team. It's going to show in a game situation. So
like,
I don't think
Jerry Rice. I don't want to compare him to Jerry Rice, but that was one of the key
exactly.
things.
Jerry Rice isn't going to run a 4.40, but he's going to help you win games.
He ran like a 4.8 himself, I think.
Yeah, he was very slow. He was very slow, but he had phenomenal hands. The intangibles are what makes him better. Mm-hmm. So I think where Te'o needs to stand strongest in the combine is with his interviews. I think that's where he needs to prove that he still has his strongest asset, which is that mentality, that killer mentality of a football player, a middle linebacker, captain of a defense that can get the job done for you. I think he needs to prove that this whole situation is behind him already. Mm-hmm. He's ready to lead a defense.
Well, I think every player is going to have their baggage, and some more than others. And like you were saying with who picks him up in NFL maybe, but it's just maybe a Raiders team like that, and a team like that, yeah. But I think he needs to put himself past this. He needs to, I don't know, maybe take a holiday or something. Just a mental cool down, because this is destroying him. And you can see it in the way he talks. The excuses, and he's not even himself anymore.
No, he's not.
Not the Te'o that we saw just destroy
like
the
you
offense.
said, that was that inferior player, leadership-wise, physically. I mean, he really was the complete package.
Yeah, that's the only reason he was a Heisman finalist. He was willing his team. Mm-hmm. It almost seaned to a stellar defense and undefeated record.
Circumstances. So we thought,
or so he thought. Yes.
So you have I'll use a political reference like separation of church and state. You need, as a player, it's an unspoken law that you have a separation of what you do on the field and what you do off the field, and you can't let them affect each other.
I like it.
But we're gonna move on. So we have Kaepernick with an interview.
His mother.
With his mother, and people have been talking about it. Is this unethical that they're talking about this?
What do you think?
Is it unethical we're talking about this?
Well, no. I think the real topic is, before Kevin starts, let me introduce the question better, was that they did an interview with his mom about whether she thinks she has the right to see him because he hasn't spoken to her since like college. Mm-hmm. So do you think it's ethical to do the story? To do the story. And then to even debate it and say what the kid should think.
I hate Colin Kaepernick. You know that.
I hate him.
I'll go.
I
can go off on a tangent about the guy, about his whole, the muscle kissing.
Stop.
It's just,
Don't.
insane. You need to leave the kid alone, and he is a kid, and you need to remember that. You need to respect that ESPN. You need to take the fact that even though he was able to lead his team to a Super Bowl, that he has this like celebrity status now, his life is his own, and this is a very sensitive matter that he should be able to handle on his own. I can't imagine in that kind of circumstance with like the entire world watching how I'd handle, reuniting with my own mother, like with such scrutiny, like. That's just wrong. It's just
Skip
unethical.
Bayless and Stephen A. Smith shouldn't be debating it, whether the kid should, he should do this. Now, his mom, granted, went out of her way. She got pregnant at 18. She said the father left from the moment he found out that she was having this child. He literally ran away. He said, screw this. I'm out. I want nothing to even do with this family. So she actually did her homework, and she found a good family that could actually raise this child. And she,
obviously, he's an NFL quarterback now.
Yeah, and she admits that no. She like knew them.
Yeah.
And she had to give, and she said giving him up was the thing that killed her the most. Mm-hmm. But now he has a good family. But if you're a producer, okay, and you have the chance to have that interview, I don't think you really can turn it down. I think it's unethical to debate, but I think she wanted to do the interview because this is her last chance. I think because he's at the he is as famous as he can be right now. She admits that it's not for money. She has a nice house. If you watch the interview, she has a nice house. Yeah. I think she's doing fine, and she has a child, everything. And I think that she just wants to reconnect with the kid because she didn't give him up. She gave him up to help him out, and she just wants to talk to him. I mean, she used to contact him on
that right.
MySpace. She does have that
and
right.
He has any
because
right
she didn't give him up because she was a jerk. Like she really couldn't give the child a good life. He probably would not be in the NFL right now if it wasn't for her giving him up.
I agree. With that, I think I agree. Everybody deserves their privacy, no matter what level you are. But with that, we're gonna take a break, and when we get back, we have more topics to discuss. So stay with us.